Content warning. The Adventures in HellwQrld podcast talks in depth about QAnon, which means we have to talk about all kinds of child abuse and violence against people. Listener discretion advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in HellwQrld. I am Mike Rains, a.k.a. Poker and Politics, and I'm joined, as always, by Sarge.
Hello from the internet.
And the mysterious L.
Transform and roll out, my beautiful babies. It is I, Whiteamus Pride, leader of the Cockabots.
I laughed out loud when friend of the pod sent us that photo.
I mean, obviously, at least one of those racists and losers was also going to be a nerd that saw. It's like, wait a minute, you know who else is a truck? Optimus Prime. I know, because while I do not share their racism, I do share their nerddom. So it's just like trucks, Optimus Prime, word association.
Optimus Prime is a truck.
Yeah,
it's voiced by a white guy. Compliments adding up.
Oh man, it's all coming together.
I just love the idea that Optimus Prime would be a white supremacist and not an Autobot supremacist. He's just like, you know what I love? I love specifically fair-skinned human beings.
Yeah.
I think they're great.
Big fan.
Speaking of fair-skinned human beings,
what a segue.
A bunch of those were very offended by the fact that our Super Bowl halftime show did not feature very many of them, besides our buddy Eminem.
Yeah, they had a token white guy up there. Fucking figure it out. Put your head on your ass.
Yeah. But the Super Bowl halftime show, for those who don't know, is something that conspiracy theorists have thought about for forever as being this massive Illuminati ritual. Because someone put two and two together and was just like, well, we all think all the artists and musicians that we follow are Satanists, and the Super Bowl halftime show gets a lot of eyeballs on it. So obviously this has to be a massive Illuminati ritual where they get all kinds of power and channel it to Moloch to, I don't know, do something that never actually happens. Because we haven't like toppled the world yet and killed God. We've had 56 Super Bowls. So you would have thought at some point this would have like worked and achieved victory for the Antichrist or whatever, but apparently not. And this year's Super Bowl, hilariously, I have gone on YouTube for this whole week, typing in Super Bowl 56 halftime show Illuminati, which every year would get me hits for that year's Super Bowl being an Illuminati ritual. This year, there's been nothing. Everyone just sort of looked at that and was like, we got nothing. I posted on Twitter that a guy who literally had a tweet, and all of his tweets were bonkers, but this one was my favorite one, where the guy was like, I'm seeing 5G towers going up in residential neighborhoods. Fuck. That guy, like 4 tweets later, said, it was nice to have a halftime show that wasn't a satanic ritual.
So, he's just an OG hip hop fan, like
apparently. I mean,
I like the idea that no, he was just fucking just sitting there, like sitting in his chair, and just being like, "Wow, a lot of these guys, their breathing is way too labored for them to be empowered by Satan's energy." Like 50 Cent and Dr. Dre looked winded. It was pretty funny. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fat guy. If I had to perform in such a capacity, I too would be winded. But it was just like, wow, they look pretty old.
Yeah,
none of them looked like spring chickens, except for Anderson .Paak, who looked like he was having a great time. He was just there on the drums, no big deal.
Yeah. They should have got a shot of the chrome before they got on stage. I mean, that would have perked them right up, and they would have been able to just bang that halftime show out without any problem.
I'm seeing a lot of people just be like, "Oh man, was this one of the all-time, like, I don't know, maybe one of the all-time great halftime performances?" And I'm like, really? It was fine.
I didn't watch it.
It was perfectly serviceable. It was okay. I don't understand, why is Eminem still performing "Lose Yourself"? Like, he has a vast catalog of songs he can pull from, and that, I mean, I get that it's probably like the most sanitized and like, you know, friendly song of his in like terms of how big it broke, but I don't know, man. Like, I just do a verse off a Rap God or whatever.
I don't think he's gonna do Stan anytime soon.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but he could bring Dido out or whatever and just be like, oh shit, remember us? Member berries? It could all be steeped in member berries. He could do Real Slim Shady, have a bunch of white people out there with like blue blonde hair again. Remember that?
Forgot about Dre.
That was the whole point.
Dre is like
Forgot about Dre. You have to like
legit.
censor, yeah, but it's forgot about Dre. You have to like censor every like fourth word. So I get why they just lose yourself because it's just so just up. It's like positive, and there's not a lot of words you have to switch out. So it's just
But
easy.
how far removed from the internet do you have to be to not immediately associate that like series of musical bars with Mom Spaghetti? Like
Yeah, I know.
the whole time, it's just like as soon as you just get that plunk in, it's like, oh shit, it's Mom Spaghetti. Mom Spaghetti is here. Can't wait to eat. Can't wait to eat some of that spaghetti.
Yeah.
Do you think he regrets that line?
No, because that song made him like $1,000 million bagillion dollars. He's just dripping with currency because of that money. But I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it probably doesn't feel great to have something. I mean, just ask Smash Mouth. Their whole career was that. Somebody like the internet seized upon their career and turned their whole band into like a joke.
Yeah.
Just sort of
Have
like
you
overnight.
seen the videos of that guy getting very drunk?
Yeah, that guy's live performances are quite the watch now. I mean, that guy is like a step away
Give
from
them the Super Bowl halftime show
Yeah. Oh man.
with Smash
100%.
Mouth.
Yeah.
like,
That'd be great.
like that guy is like a step away from being like a sovereign citizen, like being accosted by a cop. I mean, like this lead singer of Smash Mouth is in a real dark
We'll always
place.
remember where we were when we encountered Left Shrek for the first time.
I'll
Everybody
date
fell in love with
myself.
Left Shrek.
I worked in a Blockbuster when Shrek was coming out on VHS, and oh boy, and on the looping video that we had in the store was All Star. So at least once an hour for quite a while, I got to hear All Star.
Wow, I bet you could not wait for your shift to be ogre.
What you were saying there about Left Shrek made me laugh because that was the Katy Perry Super Bowl halftime show was like the pinnacle of Illuminati halftime shows. Those people got so much content out of that shit she did. There were pillars. She was on a giant lion, which is a reference to
I
Satan in the
literally
Bible.
laughed out loud when she rode in on her Meccano lion, thinking about you seeing the reaction on the internet from people that were conspiracy minded.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, like Mike and his people are gonna have a field day with this shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was all of it. It was all of it. But my favorite thing, because in the Super Bowl halftime show, like the one reaction that we got that was hilarious was Charlie Kirk, the guy that does Turning Point USA for like college Republicans to be all whiny. He called the performance sexual anarchy because apparently there was just
I love sexual anarchy.
there was just a little too much sexy dancing around Fitty when he had his turn in the spotlight. And I remember that Katy Perry's halftime Super Bowl, this one of the Illuminati videos breakdowns that they had when she did like when Lenny Kravitz came out and they did their bit together. The amount of sexy dancing between Katy Perry and Lenny Kravitz was too much for this guy, and he basically put giant black censor bars over both their bodies because it was just like what. I don't know, 100 million people saw on television was just too hot for his YouTube channel.
Sexual Anarchy is amazing. It's such a great name for a band.
Especially for something so decidedly unsexy.
Yeah.
Like this is maybe one of the least sexy Super Bowl halftime performances in recent memory.
Right.
It was just a bunch of like old men standing mostly in place rapping.
Yeah, you had...
Like, he said started like suspended upside down like a bat for some reason, but then when he reoriented himself and put his feet back on terra firma, he just sort of stood in place and rapped. And then Eminem like exploded out of a box on one side of the stage and then stood there and rapped. Dr. Dre played some piano before standing up and rapping.
Yeah. You just had a few dancers around 50 Cent, and you had Mary J. Blige, and that was like the full total amount of just unbridled raw sexual tension.
Yeah, and Mary J. Blige was literally also just standing there and singing. Like she wasn't like gyrating. It wasn't like Shakira or whatever. You know what I mean?
It wasn't the Shakira J-Lo halftime show where it was like, oh my god, ladies with big butts are doing butt dancing.
I'm uffs.
Yeah. Now that was some stuff to really engage in some self-love too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the Super Bowl halftime show was for Illuminati content creators, big loser. For racists, sad that their America had been taken over by people enjoying hip hop nostalgia. They were big winners. They got to get very angry and beat their chests about America falling and all that stuff.
Well, at least during the Super Bowl, everybody gets treated to a bunch of wonderful snacks. I do love snacking. Like my favorite snack among my favorite snacks are Segways and gazpacho.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene had an oopsie that was clearly not an oopsie. Like, she meant to say Gestapo, but said gazpacho when talking about like the current state of America, to simplify a little. And the internet had a field day making fun of her because she's an idiot. And then she doubled, some might even say tripled down on, she's like, sometimes when you say a word you don't mean to. It happens to everybody. And it's like, this was a written and prepared statement. You clearly thought you were using the right word when you said gazpacho and you meant Gestapo. And then she tried to save it by saying, one of my great heroes sometimes says words wrong, Kofofi, and then like says, quoting Trump's amazing misspelling of coffee that apparently actually means something. It doesn't. We all know it doesn't. But, here we are.
Oh, there are Illuminati people or in QAnon people still trying to decode what Kofefe means. Like
Kofefe, I have no idea how to actually say it. So
yeah. Well, I've just seen it so many goddamn times, and I've seen these people try to come up with these weird ideas, like the FE means iron, and like there's like, and they all kind of come up with like iron, like poisoning 5G, that it's something to do with like treating the coronavirus. There's so many decodes for that, for what was obviously a typo. It's crazy. The cottage industry.
Life for those people would be really fun if it didn't seem like it was so maddening.
Yeah.
You just could never play Boggle with them.
Oh,
God, you just couldn't really do anything with them but also, like, imagine if you could channel that energy into just like living a life where everything is some sort of fun mystery to be unraveled.
That's one of the biggest parts about QAnon, is the gamification of reality, where like you are looking for the secret truth, and that everybody in social media and in television and movies is giving you the wink and the nod as to what's really going on. And some of them are bad guys who are letting it slip because they're Satanists and they have to do these things per their dark god. But the good guys are doing it because they want you to know that they're fighting the good fight and they're on your team. And it just turns the world into this very bizarre place. And the thing about the gazpacho incident with Marjorie Taylor Greene that was so enraging is that there is this other side of the community, like of the debunkers and research communities, the people who hate her, who are like, do not give her attention for her misspeaking and her spelling errors. She's doing this intentionally to deflect from what she's saying, and she's trying to get attention that way. And the thing is it's really hard to tell people not to dunk on someone acting like an idiot when they're acting like an idiot. I don't know exactly what is the way. I don't know how you prevent from giving attention to the child who's doing some stupid stuff to get attention, like the kid who won't comb their hair's all puffy and fuzzy all over the place, and like you're supposed to like ignore them until they get upset and they go and comb their own hair and they no longer get the negative feedback attention they're looking for. But when you have a sitting member of Congress talking about the gazpacho, it's just, I mean, I don't know how everyone holds their tongue at that point. And I don't know that, like, if you do, you're just letting the weird person be dumb and weird for whatever reason. I feel like there is a political value in ridiculing her for getting those things wrong. I do believe that her and Boebert and others will put intentional misspellings in their tweets so that everyone can yell about the misspelling and miss the actual message of their terrible tweet. But I think this is the sort of thing where, like, to be like, look, this is a dumb thing that you said, and I'm going to call you an idiot for it. That's just it. And
I just don't like it. You're 100% right. She should be ridiculed, and like we should constantly point out that she is not fit to walk the halls of Congress, and it's a shame that she's there. But also, it just like really need people to pay attention to her and what she's doing, because her being there is still really dangerous. It also shows in a million ways how out of touch she is, because who knows gazpacho better than they know the word Gestapo? And she clearly thought she was right and was like, "Oh, I'm so close to this."
What other phrases do you think MTG gets wrong?
I mean,
Do you think that
anything
she likes to take things for granted?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think how much do you think she cares? Do you think she could care less, or do you think she could not care less?
Right.
Because a surprising number of people could care less. They're very engaged. Like, empathy is strong with those people. They could certainly care less about what you're telling them.
I mean, anything to do with female anatomy. I'm sure she has a very sensitive clitoris. But
That was what you came up with was literally.
yeah, I know the actual word, so there you go.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Well, we talked a bunch about, and so funny enough, we're not even into our headlines. We just had a lot of superb owl to discuss. The NFL can come for us, I guess. We did refer to it as the super big game several times.
Yes. So hey, when we get demonetized for this pod, you'll know who to blame. Roger.
Thanks for listening to the last ever Adventures in HellwQrld podcast. Big NFL is going to come after us.
Yeah,
they're not going to do anything about all the domestic abuse or whatever, but they are going to come after our podcast not. For daring to refer to their product as its name.
Yeah, but let's dig into those headlines.
From the digital headlines to the digital front lines, it's Q's in the news.
So we have more fun with the truckers, both north of the border and here in America, but they're on two different paths, because it feels like the Canadian stuff is starting to wind down, because
they enacted many laws.
Yeah. The Justin Trudeau has enacted the "we're tired of your shit" law in Canada. And now the police have gotten to the point where they're actually ticketing and letting these people know that they're going to be arrested in the very near future if they don't stop this shit. Some of the protesters have
well, then I guess we're just going to roll out. We still hate the vaccine, but we're just going to... We're leaving, but not because you're telling us to.
So some of the protesters have they put a toilet in front of one of the rigs, and they threw a bunch of their tickets into the toilet to show how they're defying the government and they're not going to back down. Which I'm sure is going to be really awesome.
This is what we think your tickets, eh?
I mean, your name's still on those. It's not the old days. They keep computer records, and those tickets are. Because of the governor, it's the premier, not the governor, but the premier of Ottawa is just like, okay, so the tickets are for up to $100,000 now.
What tickets, eh? I don't see any tickets.
Toilet. We enact toilet law.
Yeah.
Show me a ticket, bud. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
Yeah. So. And the thing is that they're going to have a real good time trying to get their commercial truck license renewed when they have to apply for that next year. So these people are throwing away their careers for their very vague and incoherent protest. I mean, they're talking about the vaccine mandates and how they want them to end, yet like a lot of provinces in Canada are lightening their mandates. They are removing these restrictions.
Yeah, now for what it's worth, like maybe it's just me personally. I'm not the most plugged in, but I feel like I'm fairly plugged into like the popular zeitgeist. Recently, like the past week or two, this trucker vaccine mandate thing has kind of been the only corona news that has been like bubbling to the top. Like it just really hasn't been it hasn't just been like, oh, a new variant's been found, or like, oh shit, Omicron is decimating this school system or whatever. I'm sure there's still headlines out there. They just haven't been like breaking huge. So I'm just sort of like, give it a rest, guys. Like, just like, let's just keep going, and maybe we're finally getting someplace on this one. Shut your stupid mouths. Just get a jab. Just get back to work, and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
And most truckers in Canada have. These are the vocal minority.
Too bad. I hate them all. Fuck you, truckers. Come back to your fucking country. We don't want you down here.
Yeah.
And
that's somebody from Michigan.
Yeah.
I think they're going to learn real quick that this shit will not fly in America.
Right.
What happened to all the heroic truckers that were going to block all the roads at the Super Bowl? Where did they?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. They all get sick somehow.
Because Los Angeles cops are historically real kind to truckers. Man, I definitely don't remember riots, endless riots after Los Angeles police beat a trucker.
Anything like that, no. So you have the Canadian truckers who, again, like this thing started based on mandates, and now they want Trudeau to resign. And whenever the media talks to them, they'll fall back to the whole mandate thing. But then they'll get into the part about freedom and Trudeau's a tyrant, and you have QAnon and like Jack Posobiec and a bunch of other right wingers. I think even Tucker Carlson may have given the wink and the nod about this, about how Fidel Castro is Trudeau's father, and this is one of those things that is just immense in the conspiracy theory world, where the evil seed, Merkel is Hitler's daughter. Obama's father was.
We get it in the bonus content all the time, where they're everyone's connected.
Yeah,
like Prince Charles is related to Dracula.
Yeah, and the thing that always makes me pull my hair out is people will be like, "Hey, Trudeau and his wife were in Cuba 9 months before Trudeau was born. So I mean, hey, it's possible." And it's like, guys, they're arguing in the worst faith possible. Do not, in a million years, think that there's anything to this.
I don't know, man. Some of those dots are starting to line up.
And the other thing I love about this whole theory is let's just say that happened. Why is Trudeau the way he was? Because it wasn't like Castro raised him or anything. It's just the communist seed is just so strong in that Trudeau had to rise to power and then turn Canada into.
Hey man, make fun all you like, but you know what they say: some clues are too small to ignore. Think about it. Let that one wrinkle up your brain real quick.
These two guys.
Also, that maple leaf that's on their flag, it's fucking red as blood. I'm just saying.
What could it mean? What could it mean?
It's just so they're just so disparate with what they want and what they claim they want, and now that the cops are actually telling them, look, guys, it's over. This is going to end. I really do wonder, what is going to be, the final play for these people. Are they going to, go the whole way out and demand to be arrested and, physically dragged away? Or are they going to just, slink away and enjoy their massive fines and the loss of their license and all that stuff, coming down the line? How bad do they want the consequences to be for what they have done? How committed are they to the bit that they're willing to really get themselves crushed? Or are they going to just accept the level of crushing they've already inflicted upon themselves?
Who can say?
I feel like they're probably going to fucking roll over immediately.
Yeah.
I feel like the rolling over process happened literally the moment the police were like, all right, get the fuck out of here. And for real now. And they were just like, all right, well, I believe we made our point.
Yeah.
And just leave.
Yeah. The New York Times had a really horrifying interview with two absolute pieces of shit who were at the vaccine at this protest, and they were totally explaining that this was about the vaccine and that the two of them are unvaccinated, and their daughter is in some sort of care, and people like on the internet saw that it was palliative care and they thought the child was dying, but other people have looked into it and it's probably like assisted living, and the child may have like some sort of cognitive deficiencies. But the two parents were just like, we can't see our daughter because we're not vaccinated, so that's why we're here at this protest, leaving our daughter alone, probably for over a year or so that she hasn't seen her parents, because we, her asshole parents, refuse to get vaccinated to be allowed to be admitted to see her. So it's like, no, you're not the victims. Your child is the victim, and they're the victim of you horrible pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Hey, man, when life gives you a free pass to avoid having to deal with your fucking kid for a year or more, like, you're not going to look that gift horse at the mouth. It was like, oh, we don't have to go visit our daughter if we're unvaccinated, you say. Well, in that case, we suddenly have very strong opinions about vaccines. It's just my personal choice.
Yeah.
Anyway, you take care of my daughter. We'll be back in a couple of years. It's like Cancun cruise. When the guy gets tough, you get the fuck out. You're like, see you later.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, we're gonna take this one. I remember right early in the Rona, I was working food service, and as soon as it became clear that anybody for any reason could just be like, I'm feeling slightly sick, and they got an effectively unlimited amount of time off, no questions asked, I was just like, oh no, bud.
Yeah, this will come back and bite you in the ass eventually.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, we're just never going to have any staff. Everyone's going to be like, you know what? I could go to work today. Or I could literally just claim that I am a little bit sick and enjoy my free, no questions asked, at least 7-day vacation.
Yep.
How did that work out for a lot of them?
I mean, like, I think for a bunch of them, it actually just worked out just fine. Some people were let go. Those of us that were actually there working got bonuses. But yeah, I could definitely see the impulse. I mean, there have certainly been times where it's just like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm quote unquote sick.
Yeah.
I haven't done it during the Rona though, because it just seems sketchy. Because if you do that, you're committing to like having several days off or whatever.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Anyway, This doesn't have shit to do with shit. Let's talk about something else. Seamless segue to the Durham thing we haven't brought up in a while because it's never really been relevant. It's just popular in QAnon circles.
Yeah.
Popular and useless. So why are we talking about Durham this week?
Well, because Durham has percolated up to Fox News level of obfuscation and bullshittery. And
indignance, like they're just being that graphic of them just being, look at how little people are talking about Durham.
Yeah, oh yeah,
because it's nothing.
Right, like that's the thing that's so funny is that the right wing has that have your cake and eat it too kind of thing. On the one hand, if the mainstream media covers your bullshit, you can be like, look, it's a real story. It's so powerful. Even the fake news media has to cover it. And if they don't cover it, then you can be like, hey, why aren't they covering it? They know it's so explosive. It'll like tear the house down if they dared pay attention to it.
So take us through the details of this, Mike.
Okay, so what happened? And now the biggest red flag about all of this is that Durham specifically released this little bit of bullshit from him, this little filing. He released it 2 days after the statute of limitations would have passed on this being a chargeable crime. So he waited until he actually couldn't charge these people for this crime. And he then...
It's even more toothless.
Right. So, but the what he was trying to do with this thing is he's trying to make a case against Michael Sussman, who is the guy that he's actually going to have to go to court and try to convict for lying to the FBI. And the case is, let's just say, fucking really weak.
Some might say thin.
Oh god, the tissue thin case against Sussman. As a matter of fact, I believe like either this week or next week, Sussman's lawyers are actually going to get their chance to file for dismissal, which is going to be very interesting to see because it's possible the judge will be like, yeah, you're right, fuck this, it's done. But so Durham basically posted this thing about how through this series of contrivances and this, that, and the other things, a group of people were monitoring or doing something illicit with White House internet traffic, and that this was not this was illegal. This was hacking. This was Fox News took Durham's report and then used the term infiltrate in their own reporting, which Durham never used. And they're just trying to spin this yarn that the people who did this were doing it for malicious purposes, when the reality of what was happening was these were just people that were hired to monitor White House traffic. It's like the DNS files. So basically, if you go to a website, I see that you went to that website, but I have no idea what you did on that website. Like, all I would know is like, oh, Sarge went to eBay, but I don't know like what products he looked at. I don't know if he bought anything. All I know is that like your computer linked up to a website, and that's all these people did. And this is something that's like public sourced. This is something that's legal. So
yeah, but it's so explosive because it just shows how often they were ordering pizza at the White House. And
yeah, exactly.
We talk about in the old bonus content, pizza is, I mean, it could only mean one thing.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God. Well, it's really funny that you said that, because this morning when I was doing when I was doing my standard scouring of QAnon, one guy was posting about the Russiagate thing, and he was like, "Hey, check out the Pizzagate reference at the start of this. Oh, it's all coming out now, baby!" Like, no, like they just can't get enough. They like all of their old conspiracy theories just get recycled and put back into the narrative over and over again. And so,
but what does it mean, Mike?
It means that they've got nothing, and we had the whole issue of the 15 boxes full of documents that should not have been at Mar-a-Lago, and all of the other Trump malfeasance between 1-6 and this, that, and the other thing. So somebody needed a smokescreen. Somebody needed a way to divert attention away from all the shit that's going on in Trump world. And the way they got to that smokescreen was having Durham write up some bullshit about how Trump was having his campaign and his White House hacked by Hillary Clinton and all the bad people. And so now the right-wing news/entertainment echo chamber has been throwing a fit for the past week about how we finally got her. It's been confirmed. Hillary spied on him. She's going down.
No, the Russians spied on him. It was the Yodel phones, right?
Yes.
Yodel. Like, these phones that are made in Russia apparently had state-sponsored spyware installed on them.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, there were a bunch of those phones that were near the White House, and that was one of the things that the people who were monitoring this stuff were like, oh shit, and then they like went to the FBI and were like, this is some stuff that we think is not great. And basically, if you're arguing this from the QAnon side, you believe that these people were doing these things maliciously, which they were not. And then you have to believe that they went to law enforcement in bad faith when there was obviously a very innocent explanation as to why like all the web traffic and the Russian phones were in the area.
Well, I'd like to hear it.
I would like to hear it too. But yeah, they just... And then you try to tie Sussman to Hillary, and you try to tie this... these people that were monitoring the web traffic to Sussman, to Hillary. It's just this incredibly thin way to try to create the QAnon conspiracy theory about the fact that Obama and Hillary were using all of the powers of the government to spy on candidate Trump and then President Trump after the fact. And like, this is an actual real thing. And it's not. Like, all of the people that I've been following who actually take this shit seriously and pay attention to it have made it clear that Durham is just throwing shit at a wall in an effort to either get attention and placate Trump and the right wing, or he's just desperately trying to make a case against Sussman that has even a chance of making it to trial. So I just really think that this is much ado about nothing. I mean, this happens like every 3 or 4 months where suddenly it's like, oh shit, explosive revelations in Russiagate. And then people are like, no, this isn't explosive. We knew about this 2 years ago. There's nothing to it. As a matter of fact, like Kash Patel, who's been like one of the guys promoting this shit, he was in the government. He was part of DOD, and he knew about this then when he was in the Trump administration. So if like he or anyone gave a fuck about it, they would have done something about it then, and they didn't. And again, Durham waited until the statute of limitations was up before he even talked about it, because he didn't want to actually try to file a charge on this. He knew he would have gotten laughed out of court if he did.
I think that was maybe the most Mike Rainsiest moment of the podcast so far. There's something so charming about the fact that he immediately went from saying it was much ado about nothing to seamlessly spinning back up and then ranting about it for another full minute. Well, I was just like, holy shit. He was just like, yeah, this is total bullshit. There's nothing to it. But another thing there is to it.
Well,
I thought it was just so great. I thought it was so funny.
Well, there's nothing to the charges. There's plenty to the bullshit narrative that's been created around the charges. I mean, it's just hilarious that they can just keep doing it. They can just keep dangling the same shiny pair of car keys in front of these people, and every time it's exciting to them. Every time they're like, "Oh, it's so good! This time we're gonna get Hillary." It's like, no, you're not. You're never gonna get Hillary. She's gonna die at like 98 of natural causes, and then and only then will be like, finally, justice. Finally, that like lady who Q said he had at the negotiating table begging for a plea deal in 2007 has passed away in 2030. We got her. We did it, guys. We won. It's just hilarious. All
right, Mike. We get it. All right, Mike. No, we should probably pivot away from this. We need to wash our hands of Durham for the time being, much like Trump's former accountants washing their hands of him and all of his probably not legal business dealings. And we were doing the president's work there for that time, and you probably should not listen to what we said during that time.
Do not look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. So, Mike, take us in. What's going on with Trump's former merry men?
So the Macers, or the Macer accounting firm, issued a statement saying, like, look, we are no longer accepting the Trump organization as a client for our tax preparing purposes. And BTW, we no longer have any way of validating any of the stuff that Trump said about his taxes for the last 10 years. So if you guys look into that, if you guys look into that stuff for the past decade and you find anything shady, that's not on us. We take no blame for it.
We are pleading Shaggy on this one. It wasn't us.
Yes.
10 years, it wasn't us.
Yeah. Wow.
When he claimed a charitable donation, it wasn't us.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing that has come up is that it appears that Trump claimed a apartment that had like a 10,000 square foot like floor space actually had like a 30,000 square foot space. And it was so like
it wasn't us. Nope.
Yeah, exactly. This wasn't even like a value thing. This was a just outright, this building, which is this size, Trump claimed was 3 times that size in order to try to get a higher evaluation for the property. So it's just it is so obviously
but that's just like, it's another honest mistake, just like the Gazpacho thing. We're just supposed to overlook it.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Every now and then you accidentally hit the 3 button on your calculator when you're calculating the square foot of an apartment, and suddenly it's three times larger than it should be.
I love how it would be less egregious if it was just if he had listed it as being exactly 10 times larger, right? They could just be like, oh, it's like an accounting error. Like they probably just put a decimal in the wrong place. You can't ask them because they're claiming it wasn't us. It wasn't us. Okay, we get it. But let's just say that this is an honest human error. That's fine. But no, at times 3, that's a little harder. How you accidentally hitting 3, bruv? It's like,
yeah,
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
So they're just like, they're more than washing their hands. They're like, the whole New York prosecution of him for tax evasion has to be really moving along. If his accountants, their legal team is just like, okay, our best move here is to fucking cut all ties with the former president. Just fucking cut ties. We are done and out. We are no longer in the Trump business. This is
like the white collar version of rats leaving a sinking ship.
Yeah,
it's accountants running away from a bad scam.
Yeah, they're just like, ooh, this is coming back on us. I also love the idea that you could do that, right? Could you imagine? Like, it's just like, oh, we were the people, like, responsible for Trump's money during all this time. Like, you know, we were dealing with his finances, and now the government is asking us a bunch of questions about this period because they think that he may have been doing fraudulent shit. I love that they're just like, we disavow all of the stuff that we did over the past 10 years. Like, don't worry about that. Like, don't look into that. We got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Do not look.
That's not a power we can invoke. I can't just
look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, I can just be like, all the stuff I did from when I was college age to when I was 30. We're ignoring that. None of that happened.
Don't ask us about it because we don't know.
I can no longer verify the details of what happened during that period of time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
this looks really fucking bad for Trump, right? I mean, I feel like this is like a self-evidently incredibly embarrassing thing for him at the very least.
Yeah, he came out and said that they're a bunch of assholes and he hates them and they're lying and they suck.
Didn't somebody else from the Trump campaign like come out and just be like, yeah, we don't know why everyone's making such a big deal about this. We're just not using that accounting firm anymore. Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, which is the correct move. That is the thing you are supposed to say if you're not an idiot. But Trump, his ego just will not let him not say something.
You know, the real power move would have been like, yeah, we're not using that accounting firm anymore. We suspect that they may have been doing some tricky stuff behind the scenes that none of us knew about.
Yeah.
Let's just say that we've received data now that indicates that this company and this company alone that, for instance, one of Trump's properties was 3 times larger than it actually was. Can you believe that? Like, do you believe that somebody like Donald Trump could make such an error? I don't think so.
Nah. He's the mind of a steel trap. He's like one of the
mind of a steel trap.
Oh, just absolutely the most brilliant man that's ever existed.
Mind of that sounds like some translated from a different language thing. For like some superhero who's like one of his powers is being like big brained, and it's just like subtitle and the mind of a steel trap.
It's an old Superman thing.
Oh God.
Okay, well, poor Donnie Trump. It's poor egg on his face.
But as Elle was saying, like about what you're supposed to say, Elle, in his tirade against the Macers, said, "We have a great company with fantastic assets that are unique, extremely valuable, and in many cases far more valuable than what was listed on their financial statements," which is basically saying you were undervaluing things so you could get a tax break. Like, we were cooking the books both ways. We were saying things were more expensive than they were, and also we would claim things were not as expensive as they were.
It all evens out.
Yeah.
That's why Donald Trump paid like $200 in taxes that one year.
Yeah.
It was, because most of it, like his books were almost perfectly balanced.
Exactly.
Like when you perfectly balance your books, you pay exactly $0 in tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The government
that
doesn't
is how
cut
that
you a
works.
check, and you don't cut the government a check. You are just perfect with your finances, just straight down the line. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Oh, exactly. 100%. Yeah. So also there's talk now that the New York Attorney General may actually demand that Trump give a deposition or be forced to testify as to the legitimacy of his tax records. And since this is a civil case, there is no Fifth Amendment protection on that front, that he can't avoid testifying. It would be hilarious, however, if in that civil deposition that Trump started aggressively taking the Fifth, which is something that Trump himself has said, if you take the Fifth Amendment, you're a crook. So that would be super, super awesome if that was what actually happened.
Even if they like served him with papers, like he's just going to ignore them, right? He's going to he's just going to be like, he's going to be like, I'm Caucasian enough to just ignore these. Like, come at me. Like, I'm just ignoring them.
He's going to get
like,
a giant... Yeah. He's going to get an 18-wheeler rig, and he's going to grab a toilet. He's going to put the toilet in front of the truck, and he's going to throw the subpoena into the toilet. Be like, boom! That's what I think about your subpoena. How you like them apples?
Did I hear that Donald Trump needs an 18-wheeler? It's me, Whitemus Pride, here to help the glorious President of the United States.
Oh, man. We definitely did come up with that.
I cancel myself as I state that I'm a huge fan of Whitemus Pride. So yes, the absolute worst. Oh God, we're such horrible nerds.
Whitemus Pride probably sounded a little different there because I was in the middle of a leg cramp and decided to still go for it. Like I like readjusted in my seat as the bit was coming up, and suddenly my legs started cramping, and I was just like, "Well, I'm not going to try the bit. I'm going in anyway. I'm like, this is going to be my flu game."
L positively Jordan-esque with the Whitemus Pride reference.
Your boy needs some more bananas. I need to get some potassium up ins, apparently.
Yes.
Which is an easy sell because I love bananas.
Yep.
Anyway, speaking of
bananas,
segue into the Ukraine from bananas. I mean, I'm only one man. Like I'm just like a regular. I'm not like a superhuman podcast machine. That seems incredibly difficult.
Yeah, that one was going to be tough.
Maybe I should invade some bananas.
Nailed it. Fucking nailed it. It was worth going back for. You got there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that would be true. I'm sure you're still being sarcastic, but maybe it would be true if it were for the fact that I think the most recent news is that maybe we're not invading a bunch of bananas.
Yeah.
It's still up in the air as to whether or not we're invading the bananas.
Yeah. It seems like the King K rule is moving his troops off the border of Ukraine.
And whatever Putin decides to do with his bananas, QAnon is going to think that he is playing 12-dimensional chess. That's right. We skipped all the other numbers and went straight to 12D. And like all of his moves are brilliant. And boy, howdy, him and Kim Jong and Trump are just the greatest democratically elected leaders on the planet.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So fill us in. What's going on with the movements in the Ukraine, aka bananas? For those of you who aren't hip to the lingo.
Yeah. Right now, there appears to be a bunch of disputes about if the Russians are withdrawing their military from the Ukrainian border. There were a lot of reports out yesterday that this was a thing that people were seeing. Right now, the United States and NATO are claiming that they have not seen this, even though Putin is claiming that, yeah, we're winding down, we're pulling back a little, we're trying to like, ease up on this whole thing. So right now, it does appear that at the very least, Russia is trying to diffuse the situation on some level. But if that's actually what they're doing, or if they're just trying to lull people into a false sense of security before they launch an invasion, that can't be said. What's really funny is that between the Durham stuff once you get into the whole Russiagate narrative, one of the big things that is in that is that Russia is the good guys about everything, and Ukraine are the bad guys because they were the ones who colluded with the Democrats to help Biden win the election.
Yeah.
So I remember reading some posts where one QAnon promoter was like, Ukraine is about to get wild. And I was like, if by wild you mean being attacked by Russia and lots of people getting killed, like just the idea that people were like excited at the idea of a Russian invasion of a neighboring country, it's like, man, that's fucked up. But then you remember that these people were really thrilled about the coup in Myanmar. It was like, yeah, the military just took over this democratically elected government. Woohoo! Way to go, Myanmar. I wish that would happen in America. That'd be great. So rooting for the bad guys is kind of like one of QAnon's favorite pastimes.
Yeah, my own senator, who I did not vote for, Josh Hawley, commented in his Carrying Water for Putin. It is baffling how many GOP senators there are just like, you know what's great? Putin. Like, you guys love this, right? We love Russia historically.
Yeah,
I mean, what's not to love? Look at its scenic landscapes, its vibrant cultures and peoples, its beautiful, deft, democratically elected and diplomatic. All the D's. Daddy Putin. It's so good. Daddy Putin. Everything. What isn't there to love about Russia? The cuisine. Oh, baby.
The fact,
it's really something.
Like you literally just drink yourself blind every day when you live there, just to try to get over the fact that you're in Russia, which has just been basically
just fuck off cold in most of it.
Yeah. Just like literally, that's their big wartime advantage: is that if you invade us, eventually it will get incredibly fucking cold, and you will leave because you just can't deal with that. It's just
they've got home field advantage.
Yeah, it's one of their
it seems like rough living in Russia. I'm not gonna lie. Even if circumstances in their like politics were better, it still seems like it's always going to be baseline a little bit rough in that region of the world.
Yeah, even if it was like a thriving democracy and everyone was just like enjoying equality and a good time, it's like, oh wait, now it's November, so now for the next like 4 months, I basically have to remember to like get inside the moment the sun goes down, or else I might just like die of exposure.
It's the same thing for like whatever you hear about like how like sort of like rough and tumble places in Alaska can be. You're just like, fucking it's cold as fuck. It's like just like balls cold.
Yeah,
everything is just
30 Days of Night. It wasn't about vampires. It was just living in living in that state.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy shit. I mean, we all have it so easy living in our continental United States.
Yeah. And so like the other thing about this like Russia ordeal is that Putin has replaced Trump as the surrogate father for QAnon, because their orange daddy like shows up once a month to do a rally or to promote his new social network, which is hilarious. But like to actually have like a big time mover and shaker in the world political spectrum, the only guy that fits that bill for them is Putin. So the fact that Putin is in opposition to Biden just makes him the good guy, which is, I remember back in my day, like Ronald Reagan and all these people like hating the communists and fighting Russia. But now it's just like, nope, Putin's actually the good guy. He's actually our hero. And it was really funny listening to the episode of Knowledge Fight where like Alex Jones was like, Putin's like in favor of Christianity and like our morality and all this good stuff. And like the quote unquote expert he was like, nah, Putin's actually bullshitting about the Christianity stuff. He doesn't care about any of that. And you could just feel Alex deflating like a balloon that his like godly Russian dictator is actually really not that godly. And it was like, no, but I wanted my Russian daddy to love Jesus.
Yeah.
Would you say that he's just been Putin on a show? Oh,
I feel ill inside.
Oh, I knew I knew it was coming, and I was just like, oh, this is. I'm still going to enjoy this because that guy, Putin's name is just rife for that hilarity.
Yeah, I mean, you may have been suspecting it was coming, but blissfully now your weight is ogre.
Yes,
That's right. I circled back to it. It didn't get enough of a laugh the first time around, so we're going back.
Hey, yes.
That one's for people who listen to the whole podcast. That's a special shout out to anybody who manages to make it past.
You're one of the
like
real
the
ones.
30-minute mark.
Yeah, you're not one of the Fairweather HellwQrld followers.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
It's so easy. It's so easy to make fun of Vladimir Putin. His name could be used in a series of stupid puns, and then you can always just fall back to talking about him riding shirtless on horseback.
Oh,
Yep.
I love that. It's just so great because to the rational person that does seem ridiculous, but to the QAnon people, it is a show of his manly Chad energy.
Oh, they
put him on a boat, and oh my god, they would definitely do an orgasm right in their dungarees.
Oh, they absolutely would. It's just so funny to me how the buttons you can just push with these people to get the reactions you want out of them, because they're so simple. They're so pre-programmed. Like Trump was doing an interview about whatever the hell, like, again, the Truth Social Network, which apparently is in beta testing right now, and like Trump posted his first I don't know, his first truth on Truth. It's not a tweet. And like Trump Jr. Trump Jr. was signal boosting it on Twitter, because that's what you do when you have a very powerful social network. You go to Twitter to brag about how strong your network is. And I don't need Twitter. I have Truth. And oh God, my brain just melted there. But it's just that you have Trump like flailing around, like, pay attention to me. And it's like, no, we love Vladdy now. We love Vlad because he's going to bring down Biden by invading Ukraine to find the Russiagate documents that prove that Hillary and Obama were spying on Trump. And then Trump will be president again. Like, it's just like, really? Like, you really think the world is just like an overwritten 3-hour long movie that's going to finally give you the payoff you're looking for? And QAnon's like, yeah, that's what we think. Q said you're watching a movie, so that has to be right, doesn't it?
Yep.
And it's like, no, it actually doesn't. Like, the world is sadly exactly what it seems like.
Way, man. It's Hobbs and Shaw, but with Trump and Putin. It's the sexiest movie there is.
Oh God. I just thought about that, and I was just thinking about Trump having his head photoshopped on top of The Rock's body, and then that reminded me of the fact that we have endlessly seen that photoshopped picture of Trump's head on Rocky's body, and
I feel like this line of work has poisoned your mind, and you spend too much time recalling images of Donald Trump's face posted on hard-abbed body men. It's an incredibly specific form of post-traumatic stress disorder. Any number of things could trigger memories of you picturing Donald Trump with like ripped, oiled up, shredded, just toned, beefy bod. But you can like see the pubic bone, that whole deal.
Oh yeah,
where it's like maybe wearing some tidy whities, so he's not showing. You just see the whole package.
Directing the eye, letting you know where.
Yeah,
his
but it's
dick
letting you
is.
know where the Mushroom Kingdom is.
That was
okay. We need to
Yeah.
flee. We need to flee from this
time
bit
to go
right
to
away.
listener questions.
yeah. We're going to go back right now. We will never speak in the previous segment again.
Our listeners got questions. We got answers. It's time for Q and A.
So Gazpacho Libre Nurse, Nurse Shark changed her name, asks, curious to hear your perspectives on one of these. WTF is up with Ron Watkins' behavior and ad where he acts like he knows how to whittle a hammock from a cactus. 2, what are the reactions?
Wow, what a sentence! Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's put our thing down, flip it, and reverse it. What are we talking about?
Ron
Watkins apparently claimed in a campaign ad that he could whittle a hammock out of a cactus?
I have no idea. I'm going to have to do my own research and find out about the hammock cactus.
Yeah, if you're gonna make bold claims like that, we're gonna need some source.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to look into that. And two, what are the reactions and understandings of the Durham filing? I'm sure the Q influencers are being helpful and rational. We did it. We won. It's over. It's happening. That's their reactions to one. Two, we're going to have to actually witness the Ron Watkins cactus hammock ad, which I had not heard about because, again, the last that we had known about Ron and his dumb appearances before the camera, he was like packing heat in front of Trump's border wall and talking about how he was going to protect America from the dusky-hued horde coming from our southern border and all that danger. And,
I wonder how many campaign ads he's going to make. And if it's going to be enough of them, maybe we could do like a bonus episode at some point where we just watch / react to all of Ron Watkins' dumb campaign ads. Especially if he's like trying to whittle cactuses into stuff. That is something I got to see. That is a specific art form.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm also not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that like effectively a Japanese incel hasn't perfected this cactus carving technique. It just seems like you have to be around the substance to get that job done. As far as I know, there are a ton of cactuses in Japan. Maybe I'm wrong. Cacti in Japan?
Yeah, I'm looking at like one of the Ron Watkins ads, and it's just him in front of the wall, just doing the Ron Watkins thing, because he, again, ooh boy, that man.
It would be great if that was the ad in question and he wasn't like near cactuses or a hammock at all. He was just like standing in front of the wall, just being like, I'm Ron Watkins and I'm proud of the work that Donald Trump has done to keep, Mexicans in their country where they belong. And fun fact about me, I can whittle a hammock out of a cactus. Isn't that neat? Anyway, I sure would appreciate your vote. Thanks for listening to my campaign ad. I'm Ron Watkins, and I live in Japan.
I don't live in America. And in case you didn't know, I'm not
just
white.
Fun facts. He just tosses one of those in each of his campaign ads.
Yeah.
Just like a little fun fact about Ron Watkins.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, boy. Those fun facts would probably be pretty terrible after a little while. So thank you for the question and glorious derailment of the podcast, Nurse Shark. Jonathan asks, why is MSM completely ignoring QAnon and how dangerous it is? There should be daily updates on every major network. It's just not nearly as sexy or interesting to them when they don't have a dum-dum like Trump to ask the question about, and then Trump's just sort of like, I've heard they're good, they don't like pedophiles, what's not to like about QAnon? And then you get to write up think pieces about the fact that, like, the president of the United States is a colossal moron who doesn't get the danger of millions of people living in a false narrative because he just wants them to vote for him because he just craves political power and is brazen and shameless about it.
He is a colossal moron.
Also, for what it's worth, I think where we are right now, if fucking like CNN and all these places started doing like more in-depth QAnon coverage, I think it would be net negative, right? They would just be like exposing QAnon to more people who right now are just ignorant but don't have a direction.
And I think that's part of it. And the other part of it, I think, is that like it's really hard for major news networks to like get this kind of stuff right because they're just so inept about how they how they explain QAnon to their audience. They're just
it's hard to explain. There's so many little details, and then like you're saying, if you mess up any one thing, they dogpile on you and see they don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
Describing QAnon is easy. When people ask me, hey, what's QAnon about? I'm just like, all right, so picture dumb fucks.
Okay, I got it in my head.
Yeah.
All right, well, there we go.
Yeah, okay.
Now let's continue eating this meal from Carl's Jr.
That was
No
oddly.
sponsor.
Anytime Foxy has questions about this stuff or like Gamergate, like she just gets real combative. She's like, "But why did they believe that?" And I was like, "Just they're awful people. I don't like. I'm not a representative. I'm trying to explain to you why, but like, well, why does Gamergate exist?" And I'm like, misogyny and racism. I like it's not complicated, but you're coming at me real hard here.
Maybe explore the facts individually.
Yeah, do your own research.
Yeah. Maybe it really is just about ethics in video game journalism.
It definitely is. It always is.
Have you ever thought about that? I mean,
yeah, I mean that Assassin's Creed game has a 7.8. What the fuck, bro? Like that. Like, all right, let's get together and tell this female video games journalist to commit self-harm. Let's go, boys. We're doing it. We're saving journalism.
yeah, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I in our group chat, I posted the photo of Ron Watkins packing heat on the border. He looks so serious. There's no way. There's no way anyone's crossing over now. Ronnie Watts is on the case. Sadly,
anyone?
Hi, my name's Ron Watkins, and I really appreciate the work President Trump did here on our border wall. And fun fact about me: you see this shiny belt buckle? My favorite part of the day is polishing this thing. I just really find the act of polishing metals to just be satisfying in a way that most other activities aren't. Anyway, I sure would appreciate your vote. Thanks for listening to my campaign ad.
In like 5 years, we're gonna do like an Onion thing where we have a giant mea culpa about how the Diamond Joe series of columns made Joe Biden look way too cool, and now we're sad because he's beating our boy Bernie in the primaries. So when Ron
Adventures in Hell were responsible for President Watkins.
I was going to say that. I think it's really, man, Ron Watkins got like 8% of the primary vote. Fuck. We obviously like put him over we actually got him an extra 3% that he shouldn't have got. That's on us. Our bad guys.
Like those Adventures in Hellworld's cats really shouldn't have uploaded that video on YouTube of a CGI model of Ron Watkins doing the flossing dance. It blew up and made him really popular.
Oh god, I'm just imagining like that would be like the greatest thing, because like it wouldn't even be like the bit from Peacemaker where everyone's just like solemn and stone faced while they're dancing. Ron Watkins flossing would be that, but it would be just totally in character for him. He would just be looking at the camera dead eyed, arms like swaying from side to side. And then he'd just be like, I was told to do that rhythmic dancing because the youth care about it. And I'm all about the youth vote. Please vote for me, Ron Watkins. And just be like, oh, God.
Time to go back to Japan to recharge my batteries.
Yes. So Reverend Xenofact asks, is it just me, or is there even more aliens, paranormal, and ascending master crap in QAnon world today? It's been there since the early times, but I feel like it's surging. I don't know that I've seen a lot of it. I mean, I think like the biggest thing that's like coming from that world of bullshit is the med beds, which is basically like Star Trek level technology where you just like lay in the bed and it heals you of all your injuries.
Oh, it's that thing from Elysium.
Yeah, it's Elysium. It's Elysium. Yeah, and like that kind of sci-fi nonsense I've seen getting more pushed in the community than the other stuff. Aliens.
So when filthy liberals sit in their med beds, do they have flashback sequences to when they were living amongst the natives and learning their ways?
Obviously, we do.
A little topical reference for you folks.
Yeah, I mean that new Avatar movie is definitely coming out sometime this decade.
Any day now.
That new Avatar movie. That is not what I was referencing, but it does totally work. So bully on you. Fair play. We took it to the judges and they said they'll allow it.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, that's what you were talking about. I was like, oh no, wait, it wasn't.
No, it was Boba Fett. I was talking about Boba Fett.
I was referencing a much dumber thing.
Yeah, you started talking about Avatar. I was like, what are you on about? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, that totally does work. Although I guess they weren't med beds because the guy was still paralyzed, right? So they couldn't fix his spine with the bed. They just allowed him to live life among the tribe.
How could he possibly come to this conclusion? Yeah. Ron was getting into aliens there for a minute, right?
Yeah, Ron, that was he had alien leaks, and I remember Jordan Sather was like, "Hey, bro, don't forget about me. I was the original OG alien guy in the QAnon world." So, I mean, they just go wherever, kind of the grift takes them for what's the new hotness, and right now. It's the hidden technology stuff. It's the fact that we should be able to travel amongst the stars, and the deep state's hiding warp drives and anti-gravity stuff from us.
Are they in on the shit where they think they're fighting the secret war in the future on Mars, and then their minds are put in the bodies of super soldiers?
They haven't gone full Project Camelot, no. So I haven't seen that stuff, but that would be awesome. There was a clip that I saw during the Super Bowl. It was an ancient Alex Jones clip where he, back before his voice became all gravelly and he gains 100 pounds and all that stuff. But it was him just whining about people in Texas wanting to talk to him about the Cowboys. And the best part about his tirade is that in the middle of the tirade, he's getting mad about the fact that if people would just focus up and pay attention to the world, we could have toppled the New World Order and gotten a hold of the jump gate technology and the warp drive and all this kind of stuff.
The time travel.
Right. And it was just basically Alex was saying, I hate all you nerds who love sports because you should be nerds that like sci-fi because that's the nerd stuff that I enjoy. And it was just calm down, Alex. Calm down. Relax, buddy. Relax. If we had the ability to sell shit to intergalactic federations, I think human capitalism would have gotten on that train right quick. I know that Star Trek likes to present us as one thing, and all the other different races we encounter as being kind of bad versions of us. But right now we're the Ferengi. We're just actually the Ferengi. We would absolutely 100% just sell all our wares to the highest bidder, whoever that was. So no, we would not be withholding that kind of technology from us because.
You don't have to explain how ridiculous. You don't have to explain to us how ridiculous it is that if we had warp drive technology, the Hollywood elite would not be hiding it from the rest of us. I think you're very much preaching to the choir.
Yeah, it's just so absurd. It's so ridiculous.
Well, howdy, y'all. It's me, Ron Watkins, and I sure am mighty proud of the work President Trump did on this border wall because I don't like illegal aliens, but in a fun, coincidental fact about me, I am profoundly interested in the existence of extraterrestrial life and regular space aliens. I believe that they have visited us and we are benefiting from their technology as we speak. Anyway, I sure hope I can get your vote. Thank you very much for listening to my campaign ad.
Nailed it.
Thanks, Ron.
It's a good read.
Yes. Cleodora Silvestri says NFTs are pyramid schemes. She has a lot of opinions about crypto and NFTs. Says, do conspiracy nuts real...
Methinks one might protest too much.
You're saying she's got a huge collection of apes? That's
yeah.
Dripping with apes.
So many apes.
Dripping and rippling with apes.
So she asks, do conspiracy nuts realize they're actually helping those they want to take down by hoarding the quote-unquote evidence they find as a dead man switch instead of releasing it? And does it make them assassination targets to other conspiracy nuts to release this dead man switch that much quicker? I think that this is one of the...
would be cool. That would be a cool reality that is unfortunately not the one that we live in.
Yeah.
None of these conspiracy theorist people are going to do anything, very rarely.
Yeah. No.
Well, okay. So very rarely they do stuff, and when they do, we hear about it on the news because they'll bomb a place and they leave behind a manifesto or whatever. But I don't think there's conspiracy theorists out there icing other conspiracy theorists, believing that they do have secret caches of information that will be released upon their death. That would be rad, though.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Oh, if our world was a movie, that would be a plot to one of those movies. It would be so great. I think that like a
Our
lot
world is
of
a movie, man. Just swallow the pill, bro. You'll know it.
yeah,
Get in your med bed. Then
Yes.
pilot your blue body.
And then you too
Oh.
can be dancing with wolves.
Thank God. I
Mike, get in your med bed and dance with wolves, damn it.
okay, I'm doing it. I'm dancing with the wolves. Oh no, they're biting me. Oh, these wolves are their teeth are so sharp and pointy.
God damn it, get in your med bed and become the last samurai. You're just Caucasian enough for it to work.
Yeah, that was God. Talk about a movie that could not be made today, at least not with that cast. The thing that really does happen with some of these assholes is they get busted for child pornography, and they're like, "Oh no, that was my evidence against the deep state." And it's like, guess what? Possession of child porn is a crime, and no matter what, idiot, no matter what your quote unquote,
are you a member of law enforcement?
Yeah.
Do you have to like go home every day to your like wife or significant other and just like fucking have to help them scare away the horrible stress and demons of your job looking at child pornography for the government?
Yeah, like
Probably not.
No, like that's like a job where like the burnout rate is like so high that like you only get put on that duty for like 2 or 3 months before they rotate you out for somebody else, because they're just like, no one needs to deal with this shit. It's like super dark.
Yeah, my computer terminal contained my evidence against these horrible pornographers, some balm for my dry skin, and I have allergies, so obviously I needed some Kleenex nearby in case those flared up. So don't ask me about my child porn lotion or Kleenexes, please.
Yes. God. Yeah.
God, I fucking hate these people so much.
Yeah. And the one thing I will conclude on this dark subject matter about a little cheerfuler term is that this is like one of Alex Jones's like silly narratives that he loves promoting, is like, I don't keep anything secret, because if you keep it secret, then the deep state will come and get you. So like, if I get my hands on a secret, I just blurt it out there, so it's out into the world, and that's just where we go with it. So yeah, so like that whole idea, like all of it is just like a big part of conspiracy culture. That like the hidden tranche of information, like is a bad idea. I love that word. I love that word. So thank you for that question. And Pancake Peasant has our last question of the mailbag this week, which is, what is HellwQrld L's pilled persona? Is he /she/they like a bizarro version of him? Does L morph into pilled L Turbo Teen style?
So if I had an evil pilled doppelganger, I would be so obviously those that are pilled just have much higher IQs than those that aren't. I mean, it's just apparent. So I would be too wily and crafty to be so obvious. I would be a much more subtle and I'd be like deeply entrenched in liberal culture. Maybe maybe absorbing the media and then expressing opinions on a podcast with a couple of jerks, and just generally being, I'd be like Hitler and Secret Hitler. Hitler and Secret Hitler, for the most part, is the ultimate liberal until the end of the game, where it's just like, oh yeah, but by the way, I'm Hitler, and the game's over. So that would be my secret. My secret pilled persona is in all ways just like regular me, but secretly a monster.
Just waiting like a coiled spring to just pounce, to just unleash yourself upon the unsuspecting liberals around you.
Yeah, by getting out there and secretly pilling people through my my funny jokes about ancient pop media on my in theory political podcast.
Nice.
If you play
what does he mean when he says turbo teen? You don't know. Decipher it.
Exactly.
Covfefe, baby. He'll never get it.
Yeah, dip that in some gazpacho. You heard the here. Boom.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ron Watkins, and this is a coded message for all of my fans out there. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive. I do appreciate that of the three of us, I was the one who got the pointed question about what my double agent persona would be like, or what my evil doppelganger would be like.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have it in us to have evil doppelgangers that are totally pilled, but I'm the one that the audience apparently seems to believe. Like, I'm on the precipice, baby. Like, I'm on the ledge at any moment. I could come back with my goatee like evil Spock. And just be insisting that, maybe ethnic diversity is not really a thing that we should be caring about. And we should just go back to when our country was great in the 50s. Remember the 50s? Where, like, women knew to stay at home. And, like, men were hard-working, hard-drinking, hard-smoking badasses.
Yeah.
And everybody was Caucasian, and they loved it.
Yeah, exactly. So that cleans up the mailbag. So the question of numerous, which is back this week, is so what are you looking forward to?
Peacemaker season finale. It's happening tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, that was what I was looking forward to as well. I am like super excited for the season finale of Peacemaker.
Well, okay, I'll let me leave that one to you, and I'll say that I'm excited, obviously, for the 2 Avatar sequel movies. They're still totally coming, we promise.
Yeah.
They're going to get in their med beds, and they're going to dance with wolves with samurai.
Oh, all of these things. I was kind of like... was thinking about watching Peacemaker, and then some people said it was good and give it a try, and then I was really like, my expectation, I don't know exactly where my expectations were. They were somewhere probably around like fair to middling, and then the show was actually just good, and I was like, wow, this is a very acceptable use of my time, and I am very happy that also the show drops on Thursdays, which is the day I have off. So it's just the kind of thing where it's like, boom, starting my day off right with Peacemaker. It's just really good all around. So I'll be very happy to see how they pay this season off. I saw something about James Gunn being like, yeah, I haven't even submitted season 8 to HBO yet because I didn't want it to leak in any way, shape, or form because it's just like too powerful and good. And I didn't want it to get ruined in any way. So, hey, he's given me 7 episodes of goodness to like kind of like trust in him to deliver a payoff in episode 8. It's like, it'd be so great if like cut to us next week and like episode 8 was actually like the final season of Game of Thrones. It was just like 45 minutes of dog shit. We're like, what the fuck, James Gunn? You bastard! You ruined it. You killed the golden goose. I hate you. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, and even if it does, I get to watch the opening sequence again, which is great. So go for that.
Good stuff. Well, normally we wrap up with Mike Rans, but Sarge was indisposed. But now he is back to being disposed. Is that a thing? Anyway, yes. Sarge is back. So Sarge, what are you excited about?
I am excited I said I'd play Cyberpunk again when they actually had some new shit, and that has happened. They put out a big, giant, ridiculous patch, and it adds a ton of new content, and they finally have the PlayStation 5 and other new gen versions out, so I'm looking forward to giving that a try. Also, Horizon Forbidden West comes out on Friday, so gonna give that a looky-loo as well.
I need to rob somebody for a PS5. Like, I am like just so like, my inability to obtain one, so I cannot obtain Horizon Forbidden West, is incredibly frustrating.
Well, you know it's coming out on PS4, right, bud?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet, done yesterday then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first bit, like the next big like exclusive is Elden Ring, right? That's only on PS5.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
But yeah, as far as I know, the Horizon sequel is on the PS4 and is still pretty good on it. So you're just gonna have to deal without our good friend Raymond tracing. There will be no ray tracing afoot.
A small price to pay to hang out with my homegirl Aloy. So yes.
Yeah, no 2 rays will be traced. You don't even know. Okay, well, it's time for us to jump on in the big old caboose of our friend White Abyss Pride and roll out of HellwQrld for the week. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, and congratulations, because we are all absolutely bonkers. We thank you as always for your support. If you'd like to continue to support the show, you could do so for free, literal nothing, by telling a friend or giving us a 5-star review or a thumbs up or whatever they want on whatever podcast platform you happen to listen to us on. If you have money and you'd like to support us, you can do so by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/pokerpolitics, where you get creeping up on 50 hours worth of bonus content. If you donate at the $5 and above tier, you get access to such shows as Kabbalin and the soon-to-be wrapping up What We Do Out of Shadows. So if you'd like to consider that, you can become one of our beautifuler babies. Again, for $5 or more a month. You get access to all those shows like our beautifuler baby for this week, A Very Witty Profile Name. So thank you very much, A Very Witty Profile Name. What a gutbuster. We appreciate the support. If you have money and you don't want to give it to us, you can do some good with it by donating it to love146.org. They're an organization whose vision is the end of child trafficking and exploitation. That whole line is in quotes. Sounds pretty good to me. Thank you as always to DJ Minimal Effort for use of our theme song. It is a cool Castlevania-style bop. But DJ Minimal Effort remains too cool for social media, so none of you can thank him. So consider this your thanks, DJ Minimal Effort. Our buddy Frosty, the voice of Q when we need it, but more often known as the person who provides our glorious content warning and our bumps, can be found on Twitter at FrostyVO. Thanks for the support and help, Frosty. If you can't get enough of myself and Sarge, you could hear our spinoff show where we talk exclusively about pop media over at Bingewordy. That's BINGEWORDY. That is wherever podcasts are provided, and you can find us on Twitter at Bingewordy, spelled the same way. So, for another successful episode of the Adventures in HellwQrld podcast, I have been your host, HellwQrld, joined by the beautiful, absolutely stunning, with your beard shaved down like that, mate. You look so young. Oh my God. I want to get in those pantaloons, HellwQrld Sarge, and our QAnon expert at all things absolutely bananas in the world of conspiracy theories, and specifically the QAnon and Illuminati style ones. I've got my circular fingers over my eye to indicate that I am cool with it. Mr. Mike Rains, good speed, Patriots!